Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Good Monday out there. Welcome into the Auburn Blitz. I'm Randy Lee alongside my good friend Jim Hardy. If you're looking for Andy Graham, you won't have him for the next couple of days. Andy, a little bit under the weather, but hope to have him back very, very shortly. And Andy, get well out there. I'll be the first one to say I'd love to see you back here on the television side. But I will replace him now as best I can, Jim. And luckily, I'm stepping in during a time in Auburn athletics where you've got more to talk about than probably any other time outside of SEC schedule during the football season. A ton going on. It's not only that first recruiting window from the high school ranks, but now maybe the most important part of the recruiting is the transfer portal. And we're knee-deep in the middle of that, a couple more days there. I think that you're in a contact period now, but you can't have anybody on campus if I understand that correctly. And maybe, 2 more days before players have to determine whether they're staying or they're getting into the portal. The number's already over 10,000 was the number that I saw late last week. So it's a wild time out there. And, the first place that I'll start with today is because you and I have been pretty high for the last couple of years on the recruits that Auburn pulled in from the high school ranks at the quarterback position. Walker White, two cycles ago, looked the part. Big, physical, strong-arm guy that when you were playing 7-on-7s and you saw what he did in the high school season, looked like someone that was dual threat and would be a key contributor at some point in time for Auburn. 1 year gone. Deuce Knight, go over to the state of Mississippi, probably get one of the highest recruits in Auburn history at the quarterback position. 5-star recruit. Alabama Mississippi All-Star game, when you start putting best on best out there, he was the MVP of that ball game. Dual threat guy, looks the part, really strong arm, but also kind of that oddity of long stride, running the football, and when we've seen him, he's been able to do that. Get him here 1 year gone. So I want to start the show with that for those of you that are tuning in out there. Why in the world would you recruit the high school ranks for a quarterback right now? And I'm not necessarily saying the marginal 3- and 4-star guy, because if you can go get those guys at a reasonable price and explain to them and their families and their keepers, this is going to be a 2 or 3 year project. But after 2 or 3 years, if you hang in here with me, you're not going to have made a ton of money, but we hope you develop to a point where in year 3 you can be the starting quarterback here at Auburn and you can be a big money guy. Because let's don't kid ourselves. All of this revolves around progression in the money standpoint and can you get me to the league when you're talking about these type of athletes. But why would you go out there and get a top 50 prospect that's maybe a top 5 quarterback in the country that you've got to spend upwards of 7 figures on to get him there, to develop him for a year, for him to move on and go to one of your rivals? I mean, if Auburn's got to list 5 rivals in the SEC, Ole Miss is there. We've been playing them for a long, long time. Played them a ton over the years, and the last several years they've been a little bit better program than us. But for the most part, Auburn has ruled that rivalry over the stretch. But Deuce, coming from the state of Mississippi, ends up back over there. So I bring that up, and we'll take your phone calls, 256-234-6221. Why would you recruit a high school quarterback in this day and age?
Well, my personal thoughts is if I had a close personal relationship with a kid, with a family, enough to where what you said, you would give me 2 years to develop and say, look, I can't pay you on the front end, but I'll pay you on the back end. If I can get you to that junior level, you show me, show the world what you're doing. We know what the market value is for that, and we'll put that money out there, but we can't put it out there at this time.
I see that, but those aren't the guys that are highly sought after.
Oh, no. I know.
So from an Auburn standpoint, you've got to have a feel that you're going out there like the kid that we've got committed to us out of the high school ranks right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, good player.
All right.
and was a really, really good goalish find and, probably fit the mold of what he's looking to develop. But not a guy that's going to demand upwards of 7 figures to come in and compete for the job a few years down the road. Well, not that type of kid. So I'm good with that type of kid. The one that I'm not good with anymore is the high 5-star kid that you've got to pay big money to be a backup, unless you consider him like Lagway or some of these others that have been able to come in and play really early. But for the most part, Auburn hasn't shown with previous regimes that we're willing to do that. And I think in the day of the transfer portal, why would you do that? My point is, do what Miami's doing. I don't know if it's true, but Miami, if the media is giving the correct numbers, Ty Simpson's been offered $6.5 million by Miami. It's worked out exceptionally well for Miami the last couple of years to be the high spend on the quarterback and to go and get whoever you deem is the best get for you in the portal. Maybe spend $1 million or $2 million more than whoever you're competing against and make that your MO. Instead of spending $800,000 to $1 million, I don't know these numbers, to develop somebody that before they ever get a chance to compete for you, they end up somewhere else. I just am having a hard time figuring out why you would do that.
No, I mean, and everybody knows if you ain't got a signal caller, you ain't got nothing on the team. You've got the greatest offensive line in the world, but if you ain't got a guy that could let that offensive line to know when to shift, when to slide block, when he sees something on defense to get those adjustments made. In between, we brought it up the other day, the kid from played at Ole Miss that would play D2 ball and came here. Andy wanted to know, he asked me the question about how do these kids quantify to get to that? How can I look at that D2 guy and pay him $1 million and say, okay, it's going to translate? It translates here. All of them can throw a ball through a brick wall. There's a lot of strong arms out there, but you got to be able to read that defense. Same way for you, you're a business guy. This college football era we're in right now is business. Like I broke it to Andy the other day. The number was thrown out there at one point. Auburn was going to have $30 million to throw around on the team. Okay, I split it in half. I gave Andy $15 million to go to offense. If we do what you just said and spend $7 on a quarterback, that means there's only $7 less for the rest of the offense.
That's right.
You got to be wise about your money.
You've got to be wise that you pick the right $6.5 million to spend there.
That's right.
But I can make the same argument that if I go out there and I get a guy that is proven, then I'm not wasting the money.
Well, that's true.
I don't have a quarterback room that's costing me $3 or $4 million.
Do you think? Here's another question to you. Do you think a goalish or a GM that we have right now, his decision was what we just saw? He went to USF and got some receivers that didn't cost him the primetime money that these other big names did because he knew he was fixing to spend $3.5 and $4 on Brown to get him here.
Well, I think that works out for a 1-year cycle.
Right.
He knows what he's getting.
Right.
If I know what I'm getting and I see the production and I know the work ethic and I know if it'll fit into the system that I'm about to put in place.
Right.
How much money and how much time is it worth to have been into a system? I can make the argument an awful lot. Byron Brown, $3.5 million there.
Right.
That's a big number.
Right.
But if you read into Ty Simpson, I mean, unless I heard wrong, and please fill me in, but I think 3 other schools outside of the offer that Miami gave, 3 other SEC schools have offered Ty Simpson $4 million to come and be their quarterback. Look, I think it's a great option. I think it's very upsetting. Like, we're about to go into a high school season where we've got tremendous high school quarterbacks here in the state of Alabama. We've got some really great ones. And the following year, we get to cover one that will probably be the number 1 quarterback in the country in Kingston Pre-year. I love seeing these high school guys get their just due, make their money, and become great. And then you can always point back and you can say, man, I tell you what, back in the day, had a great opportunity to broadcast that kid when he was 16 years old and he was special. But I also put myself in the GM standpoint for these colleges and go, Jim, why would I do that? Why wouldn't I let him go somewhere else, let them pay him to develop him? And then if he does happen to become that special, I may have to pay a couple of $1 million more than the next closest competitor, but I've saved that money by not developing over that cycle. So now
you're preaching the same story that JMU, Boise State, all these offensive and defensive coordinators are preaching. I went out there and got the guy, developed him, say JMU.
Yeah.
Indiana went in there and gutted him. I mean, they went in there and saw what they wanted. They paid the money on the back end. JMU developed them on the first 2 years and got to, well, I say 2 years. Some of these guys have been playing 5 or 6 years. So it's the philosophy of what you're saying is let somebody else take on that burden. Let somebody raise them up to be a sophomore, get them out of that baby stage, get them going, and then, hey, I'm Miami. I'll just come in there and give them $2 million on the back.
And it is the wildest day and age. And look, Auburn's doing it right now, and I'm applauding it. And can't say enough good things here on air about Golish's efforts. And it doesn't feel like he's rested since he ends up on campus, and Coach Durkin and the rest of that crew that's helping put this thing together. But man, it is really wild to watch. Let's just take an Indiana with Signetti. Well, I mean, a couple of years ago, he takes the money, he builds a program with James Madison, and then he guts it. And this is going on all over. Iowa State's program, gutted. South Florida's program, gutted. I mean, Auburn's going to end up with 14 of those players. I think we've got 11 right now, and I think there's a few more to come. So Auburn's going to have taken 14, and if they're the 14 best ones, then you've gutted the program. You got to rebuild it back up. I'm glad we have that option out there, and I think, but it is, if you also put that hat on, you go, my gosh, is this really where we are? This coach that we paid good money to ends up leaving and depleting our roster down to nothing. It's a wild day and age to live in, isn't it?
There's no doubt.
It's not going to get better anytime soon until we get some regulations out there, and we'll talk about that on the other side. Go ahead and get your phone calls together, 256-234-6221.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business. With family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
L&M Pawn and Gun, located in the USA Factory Stores in Opelika, is East Alabama and West Georgia's complete gun, tactical, and pawn shop. It invites the region to shop over 500 firearms in stock, on the floor, and ready for sale at the market's best values. At L&M Pawn and Gun, we specialize in all tactical guns, equipment, and parts, including AK-47 and AR-15s. Specialized parts for tactical guns as well as suppressors and other parts you can't find anywhere. L&M Pawn and Gun has it all in the USA Factory Stores in Opelika, or shop online, lmpawnandgun.com.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Looking for hometown service and name brands you can trust? Come to Presley Appliance and Furniture. From the best choice in appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and KitchenAid to home furnishings, Presley's is your one-stop shop for comfort and quality. And now we've added the Mattress Shop by Serta Simmons Bedding and top quality sheets and pillows from Caraloha. Shop Presley Appliance and Furniture on Cherokee Road in Alex City or online at PresleyAppliance.com. That's PresleyAppliance.com.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Visit our new locations in Gadsden and Oxford today.
At Glenn Smith Chevrolet, let's kick off 2026 with a bang. We will not be undersold. Chevy Traverse with 3-row seating up to $7,250 off. The impressive Chevy Equinox up to $5,500 off. Enjoy no payments until springtime at your lowest price guaranteed today. Smart people from all over the USA come to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back to Auburn Blitz, presented by Sensagreen. I want to thank our good friends Wade Bennett and the rest of his crew over there at Sensagreen for what they do in this community in the Lake Martin region. They really work and have a great presence over in the Auburn area, but really stepping in a couple of years ago to the Lake Martin area and doing an amazing job. So give Sensagreen a call on all of your heating and air needs. Lyles Griffin asked this on Facebook. I know AU lost 35+ to the portal. How many did AL lose? I don't know the number. I don't think it's up to that extent. But Alabama has really struck out the last week on some key guys, namely one in being Cam Coleman from this past weekend that they had hoped to get in. And then you got the NC State running back making a decision to go elsewhere too. So Alabama not getting the transfer ins that they would want, but I would guess that number is nowhere near the 35. Somebody out there that's a Bammer can help with that number. But Auburn's already filled in 21 or 22 of the 35 that we've lost. And I think 3 of that 35 number may be walk-ons too. So I think Auburn's got, 10 or 12 more slots to go out there and recruit. And I'll ask those of you out there, who would you like to see Auburn get in those last 10 or 12 spots? Because Golish has been on a heater this weekend, buddy. Every time you pull the news cycle up, he had closed the door on another one. He's doing a tremendous job of getting some guys in, a lot of them South Florida, but some other key pieces around the country. The Baylor running back,
yes,
good piece, 215-pound guy. A good add-on to go along with Jeremiah Cobb deciding to stay. Sure. Yesterday, massive news to me because I like the way that he plays football. Sylvester Smith from right here in the state of Alabama, high school at Mumford. Keeping him around with his physicality and the way that he goes after football. I hope we keep Champ Anthony around. I think there's a good chance that will happen. Just go to Florida State and pick up a big transfer. I think that may have happened today. But, Jim, your thoughts? Golish has hit the ground running, hasn't he?
I mean, it's obvious that since he's been through the SEC before, he knows what he's looking for and to make his system work, like we were talking about with receivers. To me, he seems like he's after a different style receiver, too. He's in that more of that Bryce Kane style. These South Florida receivers are that. 5'9", 5'11". He's not the Hugh Freeze where he's going out there and getting the 6'2", 6'3s, the Cam Coleman guys. I think he's worried about playing in space. I want to say he's not as much focused on the 50-50 ball, turning it into a 70-30. He's playing in open grass. He's going to use that hyper and get you outside the numbers and then let those little small guys get in there and fill space. Well, when you get out there and try to cover his guys and you get people out of that box, that's going to let people like Brown be able to read it and take off and get 5 and 6 and 7 a carry.
And that's what we've seen Brown do already with 2 years of 3,000-plus yards passing and over 1,000 yards rushing. Those numbers are – do we think that they'll transition over to the SEC? I'm hopeful. I mean, if you look at his 2025 numbers, and this is just in 12 games, by the way, he had a 66% completion percentage. Mm-hmm. Great number there. 3,158 passing, 1,008 rushing, averaged almost 6 yards per carry. A big number for Auburn football when we've had great success over the last 15 years is also the quarterback scoring touchdowns running the football. Whether that be Nick Marshall or Cam Newton or others that we've had that have been physical enough to score. Big number that I see from Brown's 14 rushing touchdowns to go along with 28 passing touchdowns. Jim, he's the one. He's the perfect quarterback that I think fits to the system and the players that Auburn has a chance to recruit to their roster year in and year out. And I'm really happy that he's got this much experience under his belt, too, to be able to come in this system and maybe a clean transition in year one for Golish.
Yes, I think that for the system we're talking about, he fits the system. My question, after I tell you about what I know about him, is to you, is if he goes down, do you like what's behind him to run that same system?
Well, I like that we've gone and gotten a couple of guys that have some experience, maybe not anywhere near as much experience, but you've got one guy that has been in this system too, so knows this system. And I trust that Coach Golish and staff, if they go and choose somebody that's a backup there, that they feel like that he was going to be a good backup for them to Brown, and if he moves over to over to Auburn, much the same. But you look at the new gets that Auburn's got, and I'm just kind of disregard the incoming freshmen from the high school ranks. But you go out and you get someone that was a high 4-star recruit. Has he been developed or played much elsewhere? No. He hasn't played a lot of football. I think he did start the final game and played in 3 games, which held that red shirt over. But, from a recruiting standpoint, if you go look at some film on him, especially from the high school side, a really good player. So, yeah, I mean, I do. I trust Golish. You've got to have a lot of confidence when you've got an offensive coordinator-esque head coach, and we keep saying that they can choose and develop quarterbacks, and that's what he's proven. We said the same thing by Hugh Freeze. It didn't work out.
Well, I went over the other day with Andy. I went back and looked at the Florida film from Brown playing them, and they beat him. How did he do that? How did he establish that game plan? What did he do? Every highlight that I saw, Randy, from that game, every highlight that Brown had either a rushing or throwing sense is exactly what I just told you a second ago. They were 4 wide, outside the numbers every time. So he made Florida have to choose, do you want to take it in the box or do you want to get it outside the box? And he manipulated that game, that offensive coordinator manipulated that game all the way down and made it a lower scoring game so that Brown could just walk away with the game.
Well, here's Brown's 2025 numbers against top 25 teams. I'll start with the worst of the 3, and that's Miami. But Miami's making everybody look like this defensively. But he threw for 274 and rushed for 23. In that Florida game, threw for 263 and rushed for 69. And then against number 25 Boise State, threw for 210 and rushed for 70.
Right.
2 rushing touchdowns also in that 70 against Boise State.
If you get your starting quarterback to give you 50-plus, that makes a defense worry more about he can take off, and they don't put that coverage on the outside like they should.
I agree, and he's a big physical enough guy that he can run downhill and pick up 3 or 4 yards on a key third down conversion, and we've seen in years past, if you've got that type of guy at quarterback, it changes up offenses overall. 256-234-6221, just getting started here on the Auburn Blitz.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sense Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sense Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensagreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates. Visit Sensagreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sense Green.
Looking for hometown service and name brands you can trust? Come to Presley Appliance and Furniture. From the best choice in appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and KitchenAid to home furnishings, Presley's is your one-stop shop for comfort and quality. And now we've added the Mattress Shop by Serta Simmons Bedding and top quality sheets and pillows from Caraloha. Shop Presley Appliance and Furniture on Cherokee Road in Alex City or online at PresleyAppliance.com. That's PresleyAppliance.com.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Henderson & Coker is a premier custom general contractor located in Central Alabama. With over 50 years of industry experience, Henderson & Coker has been crafting stunning custom residential and commercial spaces for families and businesses throughout Alabama and Georgia. If you're in the market for a top-of-the-line luxury home or specialized commercial work, contact the experts at 256-750-7383 and check them out on the web at hendersonandcoker.com.
Jim, you brought up during the break, and, it's not even a topic that we really discuss anymore, and that's where does school fit into all of this? If I'm right, this 5th day of class for Auburn. Maybe these numbers have changed over the years, but if I remember, you can't get into a class after that 5th day. You can't drop a class after the 10th day. You've got up to that 10th day to decide, no, this one's not for me. Is that what you remember?
That's what I remember going there.
Okay, so if you're in the 5th day, and we're inside this window now where they're still deciding where they're going and if they can get in the portal, where does school fit into the mix? And does it not?
That's what I would think, because if you're still going off an NCAA model, you've got to have so many credit hours to be eligible to play football.
I haven't. When's the last time you heard of someone being ineligible academically?
Right.
Well, and so I mean, just quit even tiptoeing around it. I mean, just say that academics is really not something that we even care about anymore. And if that's the case, then, don't pay attention to it at all, and don't let us know how many of your players graduate. Let's just get away from that graduation rate being a key to what the success of a coach is. I just don't see it anymore. I was thinking that earlier. Is how late would Auburn University allow a guy that transfers into Auburn here in the next – how long do they have before they can transfer in and still be part of the spring session, the spring season when we go into spring practice?
I think it'd have to be in this window, wouldn't it? Because
Yes.
Yeah, 16th is the end of the portal itself, so you got to either be in it or out of it at that moment. Now, I think that number still lasts on after that. You could come out of the portal in May, let's say, but ain't nobody that's any good going to sit there that long.
No.
So, I mean, I'm thinking the good ones are coming out now. You're fixing to have a lot of kids stuck in this portal that got no home.
And then just Auburn, just from an academic standpoint, concede that, all right, they've missed a couple of weeks of class, so be it.
Yeah. I see that. I think the NCAA has been sued so many times for everything else, eligibility and stuff, they're not even going to fight the school part of it.
Yeah.
Because if we go back to the model like what you were talking about, if Miami's willing to go run a quarterback every year, they think of that kid. He could have been at 3 different schools before he got to Miami, to play football. So his eligibility, I mean, if he's at Auburn trying to be an engineer and he goes to Miami and they don't even offer that.
Well, if you believe the Ty Simpson $6.5 million, that's what they're doing this year. If they don't get him, they're going to find somebody else. I think they've missed on a few.
Yeah.
But the Carson Becks worked out. The Cam Awards of the world have worked out. If Auburn would have gone and gotten either one of those, where would we be sitting as an Auburn fan?
This would be a great show for another day, but like those names you just brought up, Cam Ward, Carson Beck, that bunch that they went through, what is their life like after college? Did they go to NFL like Cam's there? Mm-hmm. And then once he's out, say his career, he gets injured. Does he have a degree to fall back on? Where does he end up in life? Where did that money happen?
I think so much of this has changed over the last 3 or 4 years that we don't have a direct answer on that. Now, the people that truly care, like the Charles Barkleys of the world that talk about this, at least I'm not saying that he was some academic at Auburn, and he wouldn't either, but his point is you're really taking that part of schooling and getting that degree paid for away from a lot of these kids, and it's because of the structure that you're working under. It's a wild day and age.
You're building a society that's going to crumble on top of itself.
Yeah.
Because if these kids are, I know that one year I'm going to play Auburn. You've had, 2-3 years in a row we've had top 10 recruiting classes. Well, you're finding out now that group, I think I told you off the air, I just had a conversation with players that were on the team. It is literally, most of these players that are left is a money decision for them. Somebody, aunt, uncle, agent, somebody on another team called them and said, hey, Auburn's giving you $250, we'll give you $500. Well, that's great and all that you want to jump and go there, but how do you save that money? How do you use that money going down the line? Because you're not going to play college football forever.
No, it's
and they're delusional to think if all of them's going to the NFL.
Especially if they're not getting that degree to go along with it, and you're not setting them up to get that degree. So let's go to the phone lines. I think we got it. Mylan, I think I may have hung up on Mylan, so Mylan, give us a call back. I think I may have hit the wrong button there, but 256-234-6221, and it's a great point that you make. Jim, I wanted to transition real quick. Mylan may call back and talk some football, but massive win Saturday for this basketball program. I've sat up here and been real complimentary of Stephen Pearl and this program, and just sit back and tap the brakes a little bit. Bruce Pearl didn't walk out when he had 10 seniors. Mm-hmm. He walked out when he was putting a team together. And is it a talented team? Yes, but it's not a very deep team, and it's got its question marks when it comes to the post. But nonetheless, you want to go to the phone lines. Mylan, you're on the Auburn Blitz.
What's going on, guys? War Eagle.
War Eagle, glad to have you.
Just want to talk about NIL and how it's affecting the game. A lot of people complain about it, but I think there's more parity. I think that's a good thing for the game. Now, where it gets a little crazy is when you got 26, 27-year-old kids. I read the other day, Ty Simpson, schools are trying to keep him from going to the NFL. I mean, that's a little bit much there, but for the most part, I don't hate it. we just got to learn to control it somehow. We got to get some control. We got to reel this thing in just a little bit. But I do like the parity at the game. I mean, like Sick Daddy said, with it'll make a great movie. But in a way, that great movie's kind of ended when you look at what he's got. He's got 25 to 26-year-old kids, bought and paid for. But like I said, I don't hate it. I just want to see us reel it back in. I've heard people say we need a Nick Saban. I think that would be terrible. I think he would stack the deck in the other guys' favors. But I'd like to get y'all's guys' take on maybe breaking away from the NCAA and having a commissioner kind of like the NFL. What are y'all's thoughts on that? And I'll hang up and listen, and love the show, guys. War Eagle.
Thank you, Mylon. We appreciate your phone call. The first thought, as you reel off how Indiana's built this thing and how the coach has done an amazing job, I think back to Auburn basketball last year.
No.
And Bruce Pearl built that thing in the transfer portal. Got some key guys that weren't necessarily high five-star recruits, but had already proven themselves to be really solid college players. Bring them in with Ira Bowman and staff, develop them up, end up with 6 or 7 of those guys that had been around for 2 or 3 years, including Dylan Cardwell, who had been there the entire time. They're really old. We had to take our shots from everyone out there on how old that roster was for Auburn, but had been in the battles. And there was very few battles that we went into that we said, man, we don't stand a chance. Not with that roster. And it wasn't the most talented team in the world, i.e. Indiana, even though they do have the best quarterback in the country. So but we had the best. If you look at Player of the Year, I think Janai Broome deserved to have won that Player of the Year this past year. So you get what I'm saying? I mean, I think that there are ways to build it that you've seen Auburn do it last year and Indiana do it this year in football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the age gap. I mean, when you're talking about, I brought it to Andy the other day, that the offense, the age gap on Indiana right now is 5+ years that they've been in college football, all the starters on their offense. When you're going up against a 24-year-old guy and you're 18 years old on defense, that's a different level.
Yep, and it's proving that way. And, man, they're fun to watch. Mylon, I 1,000% agree with you on the parity. The Alabama fans of the world and the Ohio State fans will say, well, everybody would rather see the Blue Bloods play year in and year out. No, not me. I'd much rather watch Indiana play a Miami team that has not been there for 24, 25 years, because you're going to see a rabid fan base, and you may say, well, what about the ticket prices and what about the eyes on the tube? I think both of those are going to prove to be pretty high to go along with it. And
Mark Cuban just made a statement the other day that Indiana ain't going nowhere.
No, I think that, and if you look at their alumni base, which I think is the largest in the country, living alumni base.
And Cuban being a billionaire.
Yeah. So it's, no, I don't think that they are, and they can buy their way to the top like Texas Tech's trying to do and do it well, and then you get the right coach in place. You could sustain that. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We are located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. And for any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
A fresh start begins at home. This new year, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is bringing comfort your way with maintenance inspections starting at just $29 and installations as low as $50 a month. Start the year right with Dixie.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
The all-new Winter Timber is now open, located right next to the Walmart Market across from the Auburn Mall. If the outdoors is your lifestyle, Winter Timber is your new headquarters. From rifles, ammo, and hunting supplies, camo, and all the outdoor essentials, they've got it in stock and ready for you. Winter Timber is here to serve Auburn, Opelika, and the entire Lake Martin area, and they'll make the drive worth it. For the best selection and the best service in outdoor gear, one name says it all: Winter Timber, the best in outdoor needs.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Lake Martin Mobile Detailing is the #1 auto and boat detailing company in Central Alabama. Don't trust your vehicle or boat to just anybody. Hire the professionals. Top-of-the-line ceramic coating, detailing, gel coat restoration, and paint correction gives you the options to take care of your boat or vehicle the right way. Located on Highway 63, just about 2 miles from Highway 280 in Alexander City, Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have you riding in style. Call them today at 256-794-2328.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
New commit to Auburn from the transfer portal. Again, FSU DB Shamar Arnaud. Adding depth into that already, I think, talented secondary room for this Auburn football team. Great get. It feels like we're kind of pinpointing the ones that we want, Jim, and closing the door pretty quick here in the transfer portal.
Well, I mean, Durkin's always been a guy that you knew if you got him some talent, he could coach it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent a whole show one time with Andy breaking down Durkin from his beginning days all the way up. And his average, no matter where he's been across the landscape of college football, he gives up 20 points or less with every class he's got. Even at Maryland, when he didn't have anything on offense, he was still giving up that. So I fully believe in him that if we get him a good corner, he can go out there and coach him up.
Well, he's done that so far, and hopefully the two of these guys work really well together and we get this thing turned around, because so far that just hasn't been the case the last couple of cycles
I'd
for
like to
Auburn.
know Arno, is that what you said?
Mhm.
I haven't done my homework on him, so I know I'm speaking, just from totally in my mind is I'd love to know if the kid's a boundary guy, a field guy. Can he cover? I mean, obviously he can cover. They wouldn't have recruited him. But I want to know if he's more of a field guy or a boundary guy.
Just guessing from the needs for Auburn, I think we're really strong in the safety room, and Sylvester Smith being one of those that you retain there. Auburn needs coverage guys. Auburn needs corners. So, let us know. Again, I'm kind of like Jim. It's not I'm not living in that portal cycle to see where the moves are coming from.
I got out of it years ago, even with high school recruiting. I don't spend a lot of time searching on that guy until I know he's part of the team. Then when he's part of the team, I'll go in there and tell you which high school he went to and know all about him. And obviously, if they're, like you said, if they're recruiting in based off of what we lost, we definitely need some help, to me, on the field side. Those field guys that can really get in that one-on-one coverage and cover some of these SEC guys by themselves on an island.
Is that what we're getting here? 256-234-6221 is our phone number. It just started talking about this great basketball win, which was 95-73 over a good Arkansas team, a 2-0 in conference Arkansas team, a talented Arkansas team, coached by a winner and Coach Cal, and Auburn got on them and stayed on them. A couple of minutes left there in the first half. You never really sensed that Auburn there was any question they were going to pull this one off. Now, we did give up a 16-point lead earlier in the week, Texas A&M, so there's that part of the Auburn fan base that goes, oh my gosh, when's it coming? But it didn't come. And, no, good reason for that is Hall just continues to play as good as anybody out there in the SEC. Another 30-plus point game. He had 32, had 5 assists too. 2 rebounds to go along with that scoring, and he can do it in the post. He can do it at the free throw line. He can knock down threes. He's a special player, isn't he, Jim?
Well, I mean, I watched some highlights of the deal and then watched him in the press conference afterwards, and he said it was a personal deal to him. He said he honestly, it's going to be bulletin board material, what he said, but I wanted to go to Arkansas, and they didn't want me. And he said every time we play them, it's going to be personal.
Well, he made it that way, and he's tend to make it that way against just about anybody that we played this year, a dynamic scorer in all fronts. Murphy really played well the other night, and he's had a really good week all the way around. He had 16 points and 10 boards, so a double-double there. One of the key stats for the ball game to me, and I'll get your take on this, is just Auburn feeding assists. And Tahad being the key guy there. Tahad finished with 7 assists in the ball game, only 6 points, but distributing the ball. If you look down, Auburn had 20 assists in the game to only 9 for Arkansas.
Right.
If you can double up your opponent in assist and finding the open players and getting them in roles, I love watching Purdue right now with Braden Smith, and he had 14 assists again the other night. He had 26 points to go along with it, so he may end up being National Player of the Year. But as Auburn goes distributing the basketball, we've got guys that can score. We just got to find ways that we're not playing one-on-one basketball so much.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the stat jumps off the page to me is this looking at shooting over 56% from the floor. I mean, you're going to beat anybody that you want to beat night in and night out if you're shooting that way.
Well, and always that number that Brett liked to throw out there, too, is Auburn get in double digits when it comes to made three-pointers.
Yeah.
And Auburn shot 45% from behind the arc, 10 of 22 at 3. That's a stat to look. And here's one last one as we'll move on to another topic in this next segment. But Auburn Auburn had 48 points in the paint and only 28 for Arkansas. If you were to ask me, is Auburn going to almost double up an opponent in the SEC with our lack of post play, I'd say no. But that's not the case. Auburn really played well in the paint and got out in transition. Outran them up and down the court. So a big win for Stephen Pearl, and I hope the first of many for his regime here at Auburn. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, TAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Bundle your home and auto and save money with State Farm's personal price plan. Contact State Farm agent Ron Carroll today at 256-378-6631 or visit him on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer availability. Eligibility may vary.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sensi Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensagreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carry or cool cash rebates. Visit Sensagreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Central Alabama. This is our home. It's where we work, where we play, where we raise our families and grow old. And in the unfortunate event we become sick with cancer, thanks to UAB Medicine Russell Medical Cancer Center, this is where we heal also. We have invested in new technologies and expertise so that now we're able to treat all sorts of cancers and you never have to leave Tallapoosa County. UAB Medicine Russell Medical Cancer Center. Compassionate, convenient, collaborative cancer care right here at home.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Buying a home or property can be the biggest investment of your life. The Wisdom Firm is licensed to close any property purchase in the entire state of Alabama. The office is on both Bent Creek Drive in Auburn and Highway 49 South at beautiful Lake Martin. The Wisdom Firm has you covered. Give Travis and his team a call at 334-826-0722 or check them out at www.auburnlegal.com for all your real estate closing needs. No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than the quality of legal services made by other attorneys.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
One final segment here on the Auburn Blitz. I want to thank great sponsor of ours, Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines. Got 2 great locations, one in Montgomery and now one in the Auburn area that we have frequented quite a bit over the last couple of years, and can't thank them enough. But great specials, great wine selection out there. Make sure to stop by and tell them that Auburn Blitz sent you out to Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Wanted to close out looking at Auburn's current roster from an offensive standpoint, football-wise, and maybe get a wish list of how we look to close out, because Auburn needing, I'm guessing, maybe 10 or 12 more spots to close out in the transfer portal after losing. Low 30s to 35 number. I know some of those are walk-ons too, but that 35 number, and I think Auburn, after getting the DB from Florida State earlier today, is up to 22 that they've replaced those 35 with. But Auburn's new quarterback room rosters, Byron Brown there at quarterback. He'll definitely be the starter, and the 2 backups are Hewlett and Tia. Tia being the newest one from Oregon State, 6'2", 200-pounder. Was a high 4-star, big-time recruit out there. And then Brush is the incoming freshman from Sefner, Florida. So those are your 4 in the quarterback room for Auburn. That said, Jim, that happened a little quicker than some of us thought. Let's quickly go to the phone lines. Larry from Opelika, you're on the Auburn Blitz.
Okay.
Glad to have you, Larry. Yes, sir.
And I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you might not know the exact figure, but could you have any idea of ballpark figure for Cam Coleman and Deuce Knight?
I don't know the figure for Deuce. We have heard the Cam Coleman figures may be above the $4 million mark. I think we had been passed along that he had been offered between that $3 and $4 million mark. So I think that going to Texas is probably above that $4 million mark, and that's what we expected. I mean, now, was Auburn willing to spend that? I doubt it. My guess is Auburn was you can hear and say that Auburn was going to be willing to do whatever it took to keep him, but at a certain point, Larry, I mean, would you spend $4.5 million on Cam Coleman if that ends up being the number?
Right. How about Deuce?
I have no idea. You know, that's the big question. You know, I know there's a term that's being thrown around out there in the transfer portal days that we're living in, dead money. And if you're not going to start for somebody and get all the snaps, then you got to count on that being dead money. And Ole Miss, it may not be dead money for him over there, but I can't imagine that they would be upwards of $2 million for him. Could you see him getting over that? I can't. There was demand for him, but demand to come in and for sure be the starter, Larry, I didn't hear that. Boston College was brought up at one point.
Oh, really?
But so I don't know. I haven't heard that, but I'll try to look it up for you. And my guess is with Brown coming in for Auburn, would we have given much more than $1 million, $1.5 million to keep Deuce around? Could you see that, Jim?
No.
I could see us offering that, but no more than that.
Yeah. I believe he might get that starting job at Ole Miss because Chambliss, his waiver was denied. What you think about that?
Well, they're trying to sue, and so they're taking it to the courts. And, Larry, we know what happens when college football is taken to the courts. They lose.
Right.
So I think Chambliss is doing all that he can because now he is a $5 million a year guy coming back to Ole Miss.
Yeah, he's great. I admit that. He's great.
He's great. He's kind of like Brown coming to Auburn. Now, Brown hasn't proven it on the SEC, but my eyes tell me he's going to be able to. So I can understand it. Deuce has still got a lot to prove, but Larry, you know as well as I do, I love Deuce Knight. I hate that we're not going to see him reach his ceiling there at Auburn. But it was my point on the opening segment. Why in the world recruit a high school quarterback this day and age? I don't know why you would.
I know. I've been listening to you for the whole show, and you brought up some good points. You got me to thinking about stuff,
Well,
and you really brought up some great points, and you and the other guy, both of y'all done a great job today, and I wish y'all well. And War Eagle,
thank you so much, Larry. And I'm back to open the show. I just don't know why in the world you would spend upwards of 7 figures on dead money sitting on the sideline, develop, and be a backup for you. I would much rather go find a solid backup like we have this year and throw $3 or $4 million at who you know is going to be your starting quarterback, then you're not wasting snaps on someone else that may be battling it out for the starting quarter. I'm over that. I'd like to go into every year moving forward knowing that I spent this kind of money on one guy and he's going to be our starter, Jim.
Yeah. No, I mean, what we discussed in the show is truly a business decision for you. Are you going to go out and hire a guy that you already knows how to put up signs and do it the right way, or are you going to put a project guy that you got to teach for the next 2 or 3 years? You ain't.
Let's close real quick. You like this running back room?
I do.
I do too.
I do.
I think the ceiling on a couple.
I think it may be better than it was last year.
I really like this running back room, and that's Cobb, Washington, Mabson, Davenport, and Alvin Henderson sitting down there at the bottom. Henderson's really working hard. Henderson still owns every darn record there was to be had here in the state of Alabama at Elba. Maybe he'll hit his ceiling at some point in time, but I love Mabson. I think he's good between the tackles. And then you've got two dynamic runners that a lot of teams would like in Cobb and Washington. So looks like a good room. I'm hoping we turn back into running back U. We'll see. I'm here for it. For Jim Hardy, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning into the Auburn Blitz.